Alright guys, welcome back to the Hearts of Midlothian Football Manager 2018 Career Mode. We're into Season 2 now, it's pre-season and we've got a special guest here to talk us through this episode. Say hello to YouTube sensation,
can we just get into your
1.7 subscribers.
Not the cat there, no, just the 1 point.
Right, 1.7, not quite 2, couldn't find 2 jobbers to subscribe to shit videos. But anyway guys, we're back here with the pre-season and we've been busy, especially in the transfer market, so we'll go and have a quick look here and see what we've been doing. And as you can see here, as you already know about, managed to get in Jake Tongo, Matthew Knox and Tony Gallagher. All these deals were finalised last year and then we had to just wait until they could join us in June. But we've also managed to sign Dimitri Mitchell on a free transfer. Yes, Man United decided to release him, and as you know, in real life we had him on loan last year. In the game, Aberdeen had him on loan last year and United surprisingly let him go, and we managed to snap him up, albeit we have to pay him £5 a week, which is pretty steep. But I feel it definitely is necessary because we don't have any left backs apart from Tony Gallagher, who we brought in for 200k, and then obviously now we have Dimitri Mitchell. But Tony Gallagher at 18, is he ready to be our first choice left back? Probably not. So I think maybe Dimitri Mitchell will be good, and hopefully in a few years Tony Gallagher progresses and turns into that world class player that we think he's going to be. Even though 200k for an 18-year-old that isn't going to start could be considered a lot of money for Hearts. Right, in terms of players leaving the club, we've got Cole Stockton out because he's shit, Mallory Martin out basically for the same reason as Cole Stockton, and Connor Salmon, the previous 2 reasons applies to him as well. So we managed to get 175k.
The previous 2 reasons was the same reason.
Exactly. Managed to get 175k for free players that we're probably not going
on the formation lab, but
to feature. GP2 is on the background, which I don't care about. I care about this.
I care about that, to be honest.
So they go 3 players out for 175k. No, but guys, hold on, that's absolute shit. How can you spin on the formation lap? Like, his tyres are fucked already. Flat spot city. Right, anyway, as I was saying, right, 3 players, we got 175k, which is decent money. Plus, we get them off the wage bill, and they were on decent wages. I think they were on between like 1.2 and 2k between them all. So, I mean, yeah, that will get us a bit of money from the wages. Before we go and show anything else, just have a quick look at how the other teams are doing so far in the transfer market. See Hamilton there, brought in a few players. Dundee went down, so no surprise see Hamilton bringing in a few Dundee players. And then obviously they brought in Connor Salmon for us. They did let Ali Crawford go for free though, which is absolutely unbelievable. As we know, Ali Crawford, promising young player, could have got over $1 million for him, maybe even perhaps a couple of million. So for them to let him, his contract run out and for him to go to Huddersfield on a free, that is a terrible piece of business there for Hamilton. They've really shot themselves in the foot, and they could have been looking at a 7-figure, sum for Ali Crawford, but nah, they fucked themselves. And yeah, unlucky for them, I guess. Right, Dundee United, newly promoted, haven't got any cash.
You go for every time.
Aye, haven't got any cash, and as you can see, that's why they've only spent 27k. Can they stay up in the division with this team? Highly unlikely. Celtic, massive news here. Look at this. Selling Moussa Dembele to Southampton for 21.5 million, potentially rising up to 27.5. Also, Johnny Hayes went to LA Galaxy. They've loaned out Oliver Ntcham, which I thought was surprising. I tried to get him on loan, just could not deal with the wage budget. And they've brought in a few players, as you can see, Stefan Isakenker, Connor Shekels, Steven Subur, and Federico Santander. So, albeit Celtic, yes, they have sold their star player in Moussa Dembele. They've brought in quite a few decent players, you can see here. So I think overall they've improved their squad, even though they did lose Moussa Dembele, and they're going to be harder, I think, this season to challenge. Aberdeen, you can see, been busy as well. Haven't spent much money, but they haven't spent any money, to be honest, but they brought in a bunch of players, bringing in Ross Wallace. Is that the former Rangers Ross Wallace? No, it's not. It's the former Celtic Ross Wallace. So, you go, maybe he can be a decent signing for Aberdeen. We don't know. Also brought in Liam Henderson, who left Celtic on a free. He valued at 1.4 million. So for Aberdeen to get him for free is a pretty good deal. and the only player they've let go is Kjari Arnason. So Aberdeen had a terrible season last year after Craig Levein took over. He'll desperately be looking to improve. If he doesn't improve, I'm pretty sure he will be sacked, because the form towards the end was terrible. They went the last 7 games without picking up a win, and it's just not good enough for a team like Aberdeen. St Johnstone, you can see, did a wee decent amount there, bringing in some players. They've let go Kyle McLean, Stephen Skugel and Scott Tanzer. Ross County, again, bringing in some players, not spending any money. They did get Prince Bobbin off us on a free because his contract left. I'm looking at those players: Prince Bobbin, David Templeton, Chris Humphrey, Nicky Clark, Musa Dumbaya. There's some decent players there for Ross County, and perhaps they can improve on their season last year. Right, Rangers, this is the big one we wanted to see. We managed to finish above Rangers last season, 8 points above them actually, which was very good, but you can see the Rangers have spent money. They brought in Guillermo Contungo for almost $1 million, Rafa Navarro for 325k, Jose Arnese for Barcelona going over $1 million, and Bailey Cargill from Bournemouth on a free. And the players they've let go are Kenny Miller, he's went to MLS, and they've let Ross McCrory and Jordan Ross are going on loan. So you can see, man, Rangers have spent money, and they've definitely improved their team. It's going to be harder, I think, this season, obviously, but we're going to find it a lot more difficult to split the old firm this time around. And yeah, it's going to be difficult, but if anybody can do it, we can do it. Looking at Partick Thistle, we've managed to bring in Jamie Lindsay, Danny Wilson, who Rangers let go on a free. I wanted him but couldn't get him. Dennis Memick, Scott McTominay on loan, who's a really good player for Man United, and Ross McCrory obviously for Rangers. I'm looking at these transfers, and I think Partick Thistle have improved their team massively. They've got Motherwell, brought in some players. They've got a decent squad, Motherwell. I think they should be pushing for a top 6 spot this time around. Greenock Morton just came up. I really don't see them having the quality that they need to stay in the league, and they lost Jay Quintongo on a free to us again. Poor business. They should have had him snapped up on a long-term deal. And finally, Hibernian, after a shocking season last year, you can see they have spent a bit of money, bringing in Lewis Morgan for St Mirren, very highly rated player. Ryan Williamson, Liam Polworth, Luke Leah, and Felipe Moraes, and letting go Magic Dabrowski out to Pogan Sadis for 8k. So Hibernian definitely look like they can improve this season, as do Aberdeen. So I think at the top of the table it's going to be a lot harder, obviously, and I think for us to finish second will be very difficult indeed. But all the teams around all the teams around us have improved, but I think we've improved too, so I don't think we're going to be left behind by our rivals, but they're definitely going to be a lot closer to us, I think, this year than they were last year. In terms of the World Cup, it was won by France, and you can see there France having a pretty difficult run there. Argentina in the second round, 4-1. Chile, 4-1 in the quarters, beating Mexico 3-0 in the semis, and then a slim 1-0 win against Croatia in the final. But France, definitely, they're not getting the easiest run to the final, but they did it, they won. And it's no surprise. I think you look at the French team, and the amount of quality in it is kind of amazing. We'll just have a quick look here at the value of the player. Now you can see you've got Mbappe, 111 million, Griezmann, 78 million, Pogba, 70 million, Ousmane Dembele, 64, Kante, 63, Lamar, Umtiti, just so many world-class players in this French team, and it is no surprise really that they won the World Cup. We'll have a quick look at Croatia, see what their squad's looking like since they came runners-up. You go, obviously they've got Ivan Rakitic, Kovacic, Kramaric, Perisic. You got Modric, who is only found at 27.5, maybe because he's at 32 years of age now, could be perhaps, but obviously good player. And then you go, I mean, Croatia, good team, maybe a little bit surprised they made it to the final, but like I said, solid team, definitely capable of getting there, and they were just unlucky this time around that they ran into a very impressive French team. And Scottish teams have already got their European journeys underway, and you see Celtic comfortably winning 12-1 on aggregate against Latvian side Ventus Spill, including a 10-0 away win. Holy fucking shit. Was that the away game or was that the home game? No, it was the home game, sorry, but even then, man, that's some victory. Celtic 10, Ventus Spill is 0. Mental. And in the Europa League, Aberdeen and Rangers also getting through comfortably with a 5-0 and 7-0 aggregate score win respectively. So Scottish teams have won every game so far, doing the nation proud in Europe, and we definitely want to do that. We want to get the Scottish coefficient up, we want to improve the Scottish League, and picking up wins, dominant wins, as Celtic, Aberdeen and Rangers have done so far, is definitely going to help us do that. We will be entering in the next round of the qualifying stage. The draw has already been made, and unfortunately, as you can probably see here on the screen now, if I can find it, we were drawn against FC Midtjylland for Denmark, which is going to be a very difficult tie, although we were unseeded, so I guess it arguably could have been worse. But yeah, I just think FC Midtjylland are going to be a very difficult team for us to try and beat. But we want to be in the Europa League group stages, so I'm hoping that we can manage to, pull something out of the bag. Aberdeen and Rangers got easier draws than us, but at the same time, I wouldn't say they're comfortably going to go through. Aberdeen got Djurgårdens from Sweden, who I think are a decent team. Rangers probably the luckiest out of all three, got Sorokke Brešik. And but yeah, I mean, none of these ties are a foregone conclusion. I think Rangers will go through. Aberdeen I'm 50-50 on, and I don't believe we're favourites against Midtjylland. I think Midtjylland would be favourites against us. But we will try our best to make sure that we get the job done and that we progress into the third round of the qualifying. And the board, as you can see, they're very happy with us. They're very pleased with the overall leadership of the team. Last season's success is obviously fresh in the memory. Major highlight, we're pleased with the number of young players we've handed first team opportunities to. So am I. I mean, it's all about beating through these young players. Obviously, we don't have the money to go out and sign superstars. So if we can get young players in and mature them into world-class players, then that's what we're going to have to try and do. Because obviously we can't go out and spend 50 million on a Pogba or whatever. That's just not us. We're Hearts. We're going to have to try and bring in young players and grow them into superstars, which we've done over the years. I mean, I think over the last 10, 15 years in real life, Hearts have produced a lot of quality young players, and there's no reason why I can't do that in this game. Major criticism from the board though is the decision to sign Dimitri Mitchell. They think it's a poor financial deal, but I think he was necessary. I think we need a left back, and I think he could be a massive difference maker for us this season. So at the moment they're not happy with the 5k that we're spending on his wages, but we'll see how they feel about that decision come the end of the season. Have a quick look at the finances now. You can see the overall balance currently sitting at 6.7, which I believe that's what it was last year. You can see it was around the same margin. So obviously you can see throughout the season with the wages and stuff, you can tell that it's dipped down. But obviously at the end of the season, the bonus for finishing where we did in the league, then the season tickets coming in. So we're up at 6.7 million, which is not bad. We're kind of round about there. Basically, we haven't really lost much over the season, which is good. Profit loss this month, we're currently at 3 million, which is very, very good. So you can see the income is 4.5, mostly due to the season tickets, 3.8 million coming in from that. Gate receipts 278, players sold 258. Then you've got your TV revenue, match day income, grants and shit like that. Expenditure, you've got tax is the main. The main contribution to that. Then you've got player wages, loan repayments and interest, match day expenditure, ground maintenance, staff wages and all that stuff, travel costs, blah blah blah. But yeah, the finances is something that's a pretty big deal for Hearts, considering that we've not got loads of money, so we have to try and worry about this. It is kind of boring. No one really wants to, when you're playing Football Manager, the last thing you really want to care about is the finances. I mean, if you've got money, you want to go out and buy good players, you want to go out and spend it, but when you're a smaller club, when you're in Scotland, you've got to consider the finances. So just because I've got 1.4 million available in the transfer budget doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to use it. And if I get a decent offer for players that I'm not using, that are on a high wage, or that I can get a decent transfer amount for, then I will consider selling them. Even if it does weaken the squad, you've got to also take in the financial aspect to the club as well. So there you go, we're doing alright at the moment. If you look at the current projection, balance at the end of this season is the projected balance for the end of the 2018-19 season is 4.17 million. Projected end of the season after is 3.1. Then the end of the season 2021 is going to be 3.37. So it's roughly the same. We're not losing that much. It says we're going to lose 1 million and then go up by about a fifth of a million. So Yeah, I mean, we're doing alright. Projected transfer budget is also set to go up. So obviously this is just projection, how we do, how our players mature, who we sell, how we perform in the league, how we could do in the Europa League and stuff like that will obviously change all this. But at the moment, that is our projected balance, turnover, expenditure, profit loss, total wages, and all that stuff. Alright guys, and finally, heading into this new season, we're going to go through what is going to be probably my main starting 11. Also though, at the moment, we do have kind of long-term injuries to QUALIFIER and Aaron Hughes. QUALIFIER should be out for another 2 months, I think, whereas Aaron Hughes is going to be out probably for the rest of this year, so that's not good news. We might get him back December time, but yeah, Aaron Hughes is, like I said, going to be out, so I am looking to bring in another centre-back and hopefully another CDM, even though Nowak did very well last year, he was great for us. I do want to bring in a more established and more comfortable player suited for that CDM role. But anyway, this is basically a starting 11 heading into the season. We've got Hamilton in nets. Obviously, we've got McLaughlin, who is a decent, backup option. I haven't really decided. We'll probably try them both over the pre-season friendlies, and then I'll make a decision, hopefully not too long, and see who is going to be the number one keeper. We've got Michael Smith at right back. Do we need a better right back? I'm not too sure. We've got young Jamie Brandon as well, who will hopefully feature in cup games. Centre back pairing of Suter and Berra. Very happy with them, albeit we don't have much else, especially with Nowak in the CDM role at the moment and Aaron Hughes injured, so finding a centre back is going to be crucial. We've got Dimitri Mitchell, who I brought in for our left back. I think he's going to be great. The board weren't happy, but we'll see. CDM, this role currently being taken by Christian Nowak. Like I said, he's not a CDM player, he's more of a centre-back. It's just someone I put in there last season and he did very well, but I'm hoping that I can get a better, more suitable replacement for that. Shuhum in the middle of the park, not much to say about Shuhum. Great player, did well for us last season. That middle of the park position is more or less his. The attacking free, like I said, managed to get Broadhead on loan again. They've got him for a two-year loan deal, which is great. We've got then Jamie Walker in the cam role and Windass out wide. And up front, Ismail Concalves. Obviously, when Lafferty's back, he'll probably be a starting striker, but Ismail proved that when we gave him a chance, he did the business. So, can't really say much bad about Ismail. Ismail and Kyle Lafferty, happy to have both of them. And whether we need to bring in another striker or not, I'm not too sure. You look at our bench, we've got Quintongo, the young player that I brought in, who I'm going to be very happy to give chances to. He can play up front, he can play out wide, he can play just behind the striker, so very happy to, see how he gets on. We've got Don Cowie, who's always, a reliable player, can come in and do a job. Harry Cochrane, who I want to try and give as much game time as possible and improve him as a player. Manuel Milinkovic, who we brought back on loan. Jamie Brandon, who is not going to loan at this time. I'm going to keep him at the club, try and give him game time. Tony Gallagher, who I brought in for 200k. Yes, a lot of money, but I think he's going to turn into a really good player. Then obviously we've got Aaron Hughes and Kyle Lafferty, who are injured at the moment. We've got Gadger, who I don't know if he's going to be any good, but he's still young, he could improve. Ross Callaghan, who is pretty much just a squad player at this time. If I do manage to get another defensive midfielder in, then Ross Callaghan can probably leave. We've got Angus Beff, who, again, young player, not really doing much. Don't think he's going to improve much. But the squad is pretty small at the moment. That's why I'm keeping these players around. And Matthew Knox, who I think could be a really good player in the future. Good striker. He's just not ready to lead the first team just yet. And that's going to do it then for the pre-season build-up. Next time out, we'll be taking on FC Midtjylland in the second qualifying round of the Europa League. It's going to be the first leg. We are at home. It's crucial that we get off to a good start and get a good result on the board. Now, this is going to be the first competitive game we've played in about, three months. So, yes, we'll have to shake off those cobwebs and hopefully we get off to a good start. The last thing we can afford to do here is lose. And ideally get a 1-0 win and stop them from getting an away goal. I'd love that. Even if we get a draw, a 0-0 draw perhaps, it means that we can go away knowing that a scoring draw would get us through as well. But the thing we cannot afford to do is lose. We just cannot afford to lose this game. And if possible, try and stop FC Midtjylland from conceding. Well guys, that is it. Let me know what you think the score's going to be. Let me know if there's any players you recommend that I need for the squad. And until next time, this has been episode 22, Pre-Season for Hearts. Peace.